Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Mezco Toyz 112 Collective Supreme Knight Batman figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Not really much on either side. It is the same image on either side of the flap. Not much on the front. So let's get this bad boy open and see what's what. Alright, here we go. Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, aka Supreme Knight Batman. This is supposed to be like an older version of Bruce Wayne, sort of in the same vein as the Dark Knight Return Frank Miller joint, which is sort of like a full 360 for Mezco, as that was their first Mezco 112 figure. I don't know. I suppose this is a continuation from the storyline that would feature the Sovereign Knight Batman, which is a more younger, vibrant Batman, and this is sort of like the old man Bruce Wayne here. And yo, I wanted to hate this figure. I didn't really want to hate it, but I don't know. I was kind of hating on the initial images that I saw. But as soon as I got this guy out the package, I must say I'm pretty pleased with this. And a few things that took me by surprise here. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but there is some magnets here and something that they implemented that is new to Mezco as far as I know. I haven't seen any other figures with this particular feature. I like the aesthetic of this. It looks very, very good in hand. You can see he's kind of armored up here, and I think it's a good buck. I like the way the cape looks. This one is pretty nice, man. Looks like they're gonna redeem themselves in my eyes here from that abysmal John Wick figure. But let's move forward and see how he really fares throughout this review. So yeah, just taking a closer look at a couple things real quick. So this was noticeable right off the bat, was that the head is magnetized here. So you can see there's a pretty powerful magnet down there. Give you a good close look at this head sculpt too. Yeah, I'm liking that. And you know, he retains all the articulation, although there is a magnet here under the neck. The head does retain pretty decent articulation. There still is a ball peg there. So I thought that was very interesting, innovative. I like that. And then you can see how the cape is attached. There's a little hole and you can take the cape off. There is an additional cape. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but there is an additional cape that I saw down in the second layer of the clamshell. Just giving you a good look at the body here. This was one of the things that I really did not like initially when I first saw images of this figure. I think the bat symbol was a little too big. It's raised. It's a sort of like metallic black here, and it's smooth to the touch. It looks cool though. And looking at the utility belt, which looks good. You can see he can hook, I guess, his grappling gun or something there on the back. Oh, I saw a little divot there. I thought this was actually articulated, but it's not. But the gray and the black, I love the way the gloves look. These look like if he punches you with these things on, that it will hurt severely. And down to the knee pads here. The boots. The bottom of those boots. Definitely don't want them stomping on you either. Body looks good, man. The articulation is pretty decent too. Obviously, I'll get to that. And you can get him rocking a look without the cape. I'm never really a fan of this stitching down the back here, but for the most part, I think the tailoring and everything here looks very good. And taking a look at this cape, which is two materials basically. This is something that we've seen before on the Sovereign Knight Batman, and I guess some of the other movie Batmans. I don't have those, but there is more like a softer, like sort of velvety inner portion, and then that sort of kind of nylon on the outside. So not bad. I like the way it sits. It looks pretty good. The folds are in the right place. Now this up here at the top is a little jagged. You might want to be careful with that. Seems like it might be a little delicate, but overall, I do like the design here. So out of the package, he comes with two fists. Looks to me like the standard Mezco wrist pegs. He's got one right hand with the trigger finger extended. And obviously, you can also utilize this to kind of just have him pointing if you want. I will double back to this hand. We're going to need this for the grappling gun. He's got a set that's open with the hands slightly spread. And these could be utilized for him about to get in his karate stance or do some martial arts or whatever you want. They could actually be used to maybe hold some items as well. No issue swapping these on and off. He's got a right hand that's actually probably better suited for holding something. In fact, I think this is the one that is supposed to be utilized for holding something. And I think this particular contraption here, or this particular weapon is listed on the back as the large batarang. So you can see this has a very intricate design, pretty nicely detailed, kind of sharp to the touch on each end. I like that. You guys are gonna have a lot of fun messing with this cape and positioning it under the magnet, taking it out, flaring it out, flipping it back. And then he's also got a left hand that is open and cupped with the fingers close together. I suppose this could be utilized for holding things or resting his arm on his belt or whatever you want to do. You know, I always say the more hands, the better. And no issue swapping either one of these on. And you know what? I lied. Maybe these are the best hands to hold the batarang. You know, whatever you want for whatever scenario you come up with. But these are cupped with the fingers close together but still slightly spread. All of these hands are, the fingers are like a soft pliable material too. All of the Mezco hands usually are like that. But you can see the thumb and the pointer finger are very close together. Not quite touching, but that allows you to get the batarang in there on that type of angle. Make it look like he's about to throw it or something like that. And there's also this batarang as well, which is listed as the batarang bundle, I believe. This is quite interesting because this can actually be detached and he can utilize it, I guess, in two parts. So you can fold it. I'll show you that shortly. This kind of looks like a Predator weapon or something like that, which is funny because, you know, we've seen a lot of Batman versus Predator crossovers, and Mezco is going to be putting out their first Predator, I guess, sometime next year. So yeah, like I said, this is very interesting. You can detach it here at this portion and then you could kind of fold it back. There's like a little hinge, and then I suppose he could just hold it there on the handle like so, or you can, I guess, detach this and just have him with just one blade, I suppose. I don't know what they really wanted here, but this is kind of delicate, so you should surely be careful as you mess with this and try to get it in and out of his hand and get it in some displays. Interesting design. I don't think this is something we've seen before, so a welcomed addition. And then he's got a final set of hands that seem like they almost identical to the last set. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe they are. I don't know, but these can be utilized in the same fashion. But there you go. That's all the hands. And then doubling back to the hand with the trigger finger extended, and I went ahead and put the grappling gun in his hand. I'll get you a closer look at that. So you can see a little bit of black and some gold and silver. Looks like it's got some wear and tear on it. I think they did a good job of the paint applications here. Looks better than the paint applications on those guns for John Wick. Batman's not even the gun dude. This is just a grappling gun. And he's also packed in with a couple of different grappling hooks. If you look, there is a very small little peg hole here. So there's one hook that is tri-pronged. So you got three little hooks there. And even the detail on that is good. You can see like some little ridges there where it would actually connect with something so it can grapple and he can pull himself up. And that looks good. And then he's got one with just two prongs. And that's cool. But he's also packed in with this one, which is another tri-pronged hook, but you can actually see some playable string there. So if you want to actually really go for that realism in your shot, then you can uncoil that, and I think you could run it through the grappling gun. I'm not about to get into that right now, but this is something that they've featured before on other Batman figures. And let me actually make a correction. This is listed as the dual blade folding karambit, if I'm not mistaken, as far as the pronunciation goes, because there's also quite a few of these small batarangs. So you get 10 of these, and then you also get a little bundle of batarangs, 3 here. So you can make it look like he's holding 3 at once, or maybe about to throw all 3, or separate them and use them separately, but this was cool too. And there's all 3 together. There's him holding one small batarang by itself. And you could play around with this and get it between his thumb and his pointer finger, or between his middle finger and his pointer finger. He's also packed in with what they're labeling a handheld equalizer cannon. And I don't know who he's trying to equal things up with. Maybe this is something for future, older, still much stronger Superman. But you know, Batman's not one for ballistic weapons unless it's the the Snyderverse where he's just killing. But so I don't know what this is supposed to actually shoot, but it looks cool. I said cool a lot, huh? And you can see a huge hole in the barrel there, which is interesting because you would think they would actually give you some type of effect, energy effect or something to let you know what type of cannon this is. I guess you could just use whatever effects you may have around from some other Mezco figure or any figure for that matter. And you can see his finger does fit right in the trigger groove of this particular weapon. So maybe actually one of the other hands is probably better suited for the grappling gun because his finger was just kind of on the side, or maybe the buttons on the side. I didn't really notice. Either way, all of these accessories are welcomed. I forgot to show this, so you can fit the grappling gun back there, and that fits in there snug. This is a soft, pliable plastic here, so you can just fit the front end of the grappling gun right into this little apparatus. Oh, there we go, that's better. And you can't even tell that it's back there. Like I said, you're gonna have a lot of fun messing with this cape and doing little subtle things with the cape, getting them in the right lighting and brewed in light and messing with different rim lighting. And yeah, this guy's gonna be pretty photogenic, I think. And one final look at this head sculpt before we swap out. He has 2 additional head sculpts. He's got one where he's gritting his teeth here, which definitely looks better in hand. I thought it looked pretty goofy in the images that I saw prior. It's okay. It's not as bad in hand. I like it when the head sculpts are drastically different. You know, SHF tries to pull that sometimes. They'll give you an additional head sculpt where the eyes have just moved from the left to the right, or from the center to the left to the right, or something like that. And that's not good enough, especially for those prices. Maybe he could have been yelling or something like that. Maybe that would have been a better alternative. Not terrible though. And finally, he has the fully unmasked head, which looks nice. I like it. I think they probably could have added a bit more wrinkles and stuff to the face. I don't know how much older he's supposed to be. You know, his face doesn't look that old. It's just that they have the salt and pepper hair, mostly salt. It almost looks like stone and not really hair. So it's okay. I definitely like to get this head on a relaxed body, maybe on the Punisher body with the all black, the black shirt, black pants, black boots. You can see the brow lines at the top. I'd like to see how it looks in comparison to the unmasked head that we got for Sovereign Knight Batman. I'll break that out shortly. And let me go over his articulation real quick before I show you the very final accessories. So you saw that the head was on a ball joint on this neck with the magnet attached. So you can get him to look down and up, left to right, pivot. And you get a little more range by kind of angling the magnet on the upper torso too. So you could kind of move that around a bit too, forward and back. So it's a pretty decent range of motion on the head, especially for this sort of gimmick. Usually with a gimmick or a light up feature in the head, you're going to lose articulation, but they did a good job here. And then a pretty standard set of articulation for one of Mezco's sort of buff bucks here. And he can move pretty well in this particular suit too. So you see the shoulders get up far. You can even get them up high that way. You get a butterfly joint in there, upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, swivel and a hinge on the wrist, good upper torso articulation, ab crunch. You can turn him at the waist a little bit as well. I would assume there's a T-joint in there somewhere. His legs will come up pretty far. You get a really wide split, and again, you're not even stressing this material. This is a much softer material on the legs here. Upper thigh swivel. There is a double jointed knee. That looks a little weird there when you do that, but there's that. And then there's a swivel and a slight hinge and a little bit of pivot on the foot. Now, that is where I'm kind of annoyed. I wish the ankle pivot was a little better on the foot, but overall, pretty nice. And then aside from a stand, which all Mezco figures come with a stand, and I never show it, his very final accessory is another cloak with bendy wire on the outside seam. So you can kind of get this to get him in some dynamic poses. Then you might actually have to utilize that stand. Looks like there's one elongated wire here, and then there's 3 more through some of the seams. So that's great. Yep, and that pretty much makes the figure right there. So a lot of playability with this guy. posability, fun factor. You could get a lot out of this cape. You know, oftentimes when you get a cape with bendy wire, they're kind of cheap with it and you only get it through one side. But the fact that you can bend it at more portions throughout the center, this is really nice. And you could actually even utilize it to just have it kind of resting in a more relaxed way than the cape that was attached to them out of the package. So yeah, you could really utilize this wire to get the cape to rest in whatever fashion you want. So that's really good. In past instances, when I'm displaying with a figure with the cape that's kind of flowy, I would actually sometimes put like a little tiny hair rubber band at the bottom and just kind of squash everything together to keep it in place so I could photograph them. But you won't really need to do that. You could utilize the bendy wire and kind of bend it around itself. So yeah, man, real nice job here, Mezco. Good job. And a few quick size comparisons, and I'm gonna get you guys up out of here. So on the left is the very first Mezco 112 collective figure, the Dark Knight Returns Batman, and you can see that was a kind of cloak design that I don't feel like they really explored again. Maybe on Superman, the cape was sort of similar there. It was just some things on here that were really cool that I don't feel like they explored more. And then in the middle is the Supreme Knight Batman. On the right is the Sovereign Knight Batman, which was kind of like my go-to like kind of modern Batman, but I'm really liking the Supreme Knight Batman figure. I think he is actually maybe better than the Sovereign Knight Batman, but that's how all three of those stack up. And there's the old man Bruce head on the Sovereign Knight Batman body. Of course you can do that. And you can do it the other way around. There's the young Bruce Wayne that was packed in with the Sovereign Knight Batman on the Supreme Knight Batman body. And there he is next to Mezco Deathstroke on the left and Mezco Superman on the right, which is long overdue for a redo. We need an updated, classic, good Superman. This guy is pretty much trash and still a lot of money on the secondary market. And this definitely works. This is the Punisher body with the old man Bruce head. I think this head is a little larger than the young man Bruce, but it still works. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Alright, I'm a little pressed for time and my camera's about to die, so I'm going to get up out of here. I'll do some more swaps and comparisons and things like that on Instagram, but this is one I would highly recommend here from Mezco. Every single time I do a review on a Mezco figure and I'm not pleased with it, the very next figure that I review from them, I'm always really happy with. So, you know, I did John Wick last week, or maybe that was this week. I can't remember in this pandemic. Every day is the same day, but yeah, this is a really good figure. A lot of cool accessories. I would be careful trying to pick him up by the head. You don't want to do that because the magnet is strong, but not that strong. And I would be very careful with swapping out the capes because at the upper portion where that rim is that goes around the magnet in the upper torso, the stitching there is a little iffy and you may tear that apart. But yeah, solid release here from Mezco. Thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell down there. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.